We're talking Philly sports.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
And New York sports.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And the unique history and relationship between the two cities. With Mike Carr.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
And Adam Turkel.
I agree. Nobody's madder about than I am. They're going to say that, and I'm going to look at them and say, hey, you're right.
This is the Battle for I-95 podcast, starting now.
All right, welcome to the Battle for I-95 podcast, episode numero 6, number 6. And this is brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving's hard enough, do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield, Connecticut, and removal in New York. And I am one half of your hosting show. I am the Turk, Adam Turkel, and my partner here is Mr. Michael Carr. How are we doing today, Mr. Carr?
Fabulous. Covered in mosquito bites and sunburn from the shore.
I'm sure that those mosquitoes are extra juicy since they live in Philly. They're probably, they fatten up pretty good.
Shore, your Jersey Shore.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, is what it is, right? Well, we got our episode 6 here coming up, and obviously we got some goings-ons in the sports world as we know it. Before we get to the sports world, I would like to apologize to our few viewers, all 5 of you, or whatever it is, that check out our TikTok, and because that's the funny stuff. That's our rants, and that's us picking on each other. Because our TikTok got permabanned, and I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Hold on, you said it got promo banned?
Permanently
banned.
Permabanned, and maybe I was a little hard on the head coach of the Jets. I don't know if it came from that. I don't know if it comes from using FAN's audio of myself, my own likeness, which I gave credit to WFAN and Odyssey for. But be that as it may, I'm trying to contest it. I think it's dumb, but be that as it may, I'm going to back off it and try to do it the right way and find out. If not, we'll restart it in 2 days. For those 5 of you that are watching our videos or whatever, starting tonight, I'm going to put them more in the Instagram Reels so you can check us out. At Battle for I-95 on Instagram Reels, same thing on Facebook and every other medium that's normal that doesn't ban you for putting up stuff from a show. So anyway, that's I did a good job. I didn't rant. I didn't go nuts, right? That was good, right?
No, you know what? I think you should rant. I really don't. I mean, I'm not trying to walk you into something to get us permanently banned from everything else. But let me fucking tell you something. Hold on. Now I'm getting upset. This is the goddamn red, white, and blue country. There's 13 stars on that fucking flag and 13 stripes and 50 stars on that flag. We fought for freedom of speech. Okay? We should be able to say whatever the fuck we want. When we want. However we want. Because you know what? This is a podcast. It's a based opinion. Okay?
Right.
We are not professionals. We are amateurs. I don't know if they can tell.
Oh, speak for yourself. I'm a pro.
Yeah, you're very professional.
I'm a fucking
sitting back
pro.
in your lazy boy.
That's right. That's because I'm in the throne right now. I'm in the throne here. I'm in the lap of luxury. You got a wall behind you with a fucking.
I got
closet,
a wall. Yeah, I know. I look like I'm in a fucking jail cell every week.
What are you broadcasting live from the L in Kensington today? Is that what you're doing? Live from the L?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to do one from under the L.
Oh no, don't do that.
But just to end that rant on, fuck you, TikTok. How's that?
Yeah, I think it's kind of corny.
Write it, trademark, copyright.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, it is what it is, right? And we'll figure it out, or we'll use other mediums. I'm sure all 5 of you could access the other things that we do, right? So let's get to sports now. The Boston Celtics have wrapped it up. And, not cool from our perspective because everybody knows.
Boston.
That's right. Fuck Boston. But yet, here they are, the Celtics again. They're the Yankees of basketball. They just go and win championships. and they disappear for a little while, and they come back and get another one. And, the Celtics overmatched Dallas all series. And I'll tell you what, except for that game 4, right, where Dallas just blew them out by 40 points, which was weird. But I think Boston was already in let's go back to Boston and win this mode. But game 3, when Porzingis didn't play after hurting himself, game 2 was Dallas's chance. That was their chance to get back in the series. And what'd they do? Laid an egg. Couldn't come away with it. They had a good game, but they don't win the game, and they go down 3-0, and they subsequently win a game, and then it's a gentleman's sweep, and game 5 was nothing to write home about. Yet another blowout.
Yeah, and 108 to 8 or 10 didn't matter. Dallas only put up 88 in a game. You got to get. At least I didn't pick them.
Yeah, and I thought the series would go longer. I thought Dallas would put up
Very
more of a
unentertaining.
struggle. What?
It was very unentertaining, very anticlimactic.
It was a boring
predictable.
series. It was a boring series.
I'm sure everybody's still partying up there like the fucking monstrosities they are.
I stay by my word on what I said. I think healthy Knicks and even healthy Sixers would have been the best series the Celtics had to play. If either one of those teams was healthy and they had to play them, maybe healthy Miami with Jimmy Butler if he was, but he didn't have such a great year this year, Jimmy Butler. But anyway, but I really, listen, the Celtics won it. You can't take it away from them. It's number 10,050,000 like the Yankees do. And congratulations to the Celtics, as much as I, can't stand Boston. But the road there was really compromised. I mean, they didn't have to play Donovan Mitchell for a couple of games. They didn't have to play Halliburton for a couple of games. They played Miami without Jimmy Butler. I talk about having the road pay for you. It really was.
Yeah, it was. They walked right through the East. But they, like you said, they earned it. They're champs for the year. They get their parade. They get.
We suck again.
And now we'll go into the off season, and we got the draft coming up. The NBA draft coming up.
Knicks have 2 picks, 23 and 24, 24 and 25.
I think the Sixers lost theirs. They had one pick. I think it was the top 5 protected, and it fell in that protection realm, so they don't get it.
And while we're still on the NBA, reports according to Ian Begley are that the Knicks made an offer to OG Anunoby because right now, since the finals are over, you're allowed to talk to only your own free agents. And reportedly, Anunoby didn't like the offer. So let's see what happens with that. Supposedly the Sixers are interested in Anunoby too. I think the question becomes, how much is he really worth financially? I mean, listen, the guy's a dynamite player. Watch him firsthand. He just doesn't stay healthy. He gets hurt or is injured or out all the fucking time. And that's why I don't know if he's worth $35 million a year. Can you give a guy $35 million a year, Mike, that's going to, play 60 games and might be down for the playoffs? Because that just seems to be what happens with him. I don't know. And I love Anunoby. I think he fit for the Knicks. He fits them perfectly. He fits exactly what they need, right? He's that thing that kind of glues Brunson and Randall and the whole thing together. When they're all doing their specific jobs for that. Remember, everyone forgets this. For that span of games, when Anunoby played with Brunson and Randall, they were 18-3. Everybody forgets that. That was a big deal. So let's see what happens with OG. Let's see what goes there. And the NBA finals are over. And that will now lead us to the NHL, the National Hockey League. And
the Oilers got one.
The Oilers got one, and it was a freaking shooting gallery out there. 8-1 was the final, right?
Yeah.
For hockey, that's like, that was basically in football words, 53-6.
Yeah, that's a 50 bird.
That's a 50 burger in hockey, and but I think that there were a couple of, I think early in the game, Florida had some bad luck, right? There were a couple of shots that probably shouldn't have gone in. It got out of hand quickly. Bobrovsky just looked a little off, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He looked a little slow, like maybe a half a second slow, and he let up a couple of goals he normally wouldn't let in, and it just kind of went downhill from there. It was all Edmonton the whole game. But now they got to go back to Florida, and I'm not moving off my position. Florida in 5. I said it from Jump Street.
Yeah.
I think that Florida ends it.
Yeah, they're going to end it. I mean, they're probably pulling the same thing that Boston's pulling. The Celtics pulled. All right, look, got out of the hand. Let's just get through this game, learn something for it, get home, and let's raise the cup in front of our fans.
The two series, really, you look at it, they're very similar. Like you just said, you get the blowout both by both teams down 3-0 in Game 4, and now let's see if Florida can repeat what the Boston Celtics did and take it back home and put it away and go get their cup. And then hockey season will be over, and that will be the end of that. And listen, for me as a Ranger fan, it's an underwhelming season because I feel like the Rangers should have at least made it to the Cup Finals. And I'm not saying they're better than Florida. The first thing I'm going to tell you when I say that is I was surprised by it, but Florida was better. All there is to it. Rangers have to recalibrate how they have this team built a little bit. They started moving already. We'll see what happens. A little underwhelming for me with the Rangers. It's where the Knicks got me really excited. To me, it feels like it's just the beginning for the Knicks. I don't know what the feeling is in Philly on your winter sports. What does it feel like there as far as your outlook for the future with the Sixers and with the Flyers?
Oh, man. I mean, the Sixers, so I was listening to WIP today. So I usually listen to ESPN radio on Sirius, but, good for me. I got a company truck now, so we don't have Sirius anymore. So it's back to WIP and listening just to Philly sports. And
what a waste that is. What a miserable fucking life that is. Jesus Christ.
Tell you this, Turk. Nobody trusts Daryl Morey. Nobody trusts him.
Nobody trusts him? Really?
Nobody trusts him. Wow. It's just all day, every day of they're going to end up signing Butler for $40 million a year.
I get it. He's done a lot of bad. I get it. The big mark on his resume right now is not re-signing Jimmy Butler and signing Tobias Harris instead. Right now, that is kind of like that is the shit stain on the bed right now. That's really a bad going on. But this is still the guy. This is still the guy that built the process. This is still the guy.
Nah, not Daryl Morey.
Morey got here right when it was getting going. He filled in pieces. It wasn't Morey's fault that Simmons took a shit. It wasn't his fault that happened, right? That team was built to win. That team was ready to go. And the one that really killed that team is Ben Simmons. Simmons killed you.
Yeah. But that was Sam Hinkie who put that together. He did the
Hinkie did the tanking and everything.
We're going to put a goddamn team out there.
Right.
You guys are going to watch it whether you like it or not because you're addicts.
Right.
We're going to win 10 games a year. We're going to get a top 3 pick every year until we get it right.
3 years in a row, they got it right. 3 years in a row.
We got it right once.
No, you got it right twice. It's just the guy became a head case. Simmons was the right pick, Mike.
Listen, I believe it so because, who else are you going to go with at that time?
Simmons was the right pick.
When it looks like
he became a mental case.
I think that we need to start listening more to our sports psychologists down there on Broad Street.
I could agree with that.
Because I think somebody would have said something about this kid because he was a prima donna at LSU too.
Oh, prima donna doesn't mean and it'd be funny to find something out like that, to find out what he was, what was thought of him mentally coming out. Because I know there's aptitude tests, and if he was a head case from Jump Street, and
he was a head case from Jump Street,
and I will say this again, when Simmons first came on the scene, he looked like he was the next Magic Johnson.
Yes.
The dude was outrageous, rebounding like almost a triple-double machine.
Everything.
But
shooting.
I'm still dying to know what is it that snapped in him that took him from potential Magic Johnson to what he is now, which is a shadow of what he was. I'd love to know. I'd really love to know.
He was going. They made him go to a sports psychologist. They were trying to have him talk it out and like, yo, man, what's going on with you? Because you're right. He was doing everything. Like you said, triple doubles every night. And one stupid play. There was a series.
It was happening before that, Mike. That was just
there was a series of them. There was a series of them.
Yeah,
but
that was the one that kind of put it away. Yeah, that was like
the straw that broke the camel's back, and we lost it on him.
Yeah.
And I think it's like one of them things, he was always the star. He was always what, and now once people start telling you, yo, you fucking stink.
There was a point where, and this was national media. They talked about this on New York radio where it was like, well, who do we focus the team on, Simmons or Embiid? Because Simmons was playing that well, and Embiid was actually frustrated because Simmons was he was the main ball handler. He was the one that would, he was dishing it out. Embiid was kind of a slash guy and getting rebounds and putbacks, and Embiid wanted more touches. I remember that whole thing. It just shows you the fall from grace, man. I've never seen a player, right? I've seen guys get the yips and lose it a little bit and this and that in all sports. From my memory, notably is Steve Sachs with the Yankees, and then later on Knobloch got the yips also with the Yankees, right? But I've never seen a player go from Hall of Fame, potentially dominating the league, MVP conversation to I can't hit a shot at all. Yeah. I've never seen that. It's outrageous that it's happening. Yeah. It's fucking crazy. Well, that's a subject we could discuss all day, but we probably should move on from it.
Exactly.
Because let me tell you something. I'm not a fucking psychologist, but that guy's got fucking problems.
He's fucking loony. He's a goofy motherfucker.
Issues, And speaking of issues, I have issues with a guy that I know is a degenerate, but he comes on with us to give us some bad advice because, if you bet against him, you're probably going to win, right? It seems to be the way. And we're going to add Frankie Ravioli to the stage. And welcome back to the show, Frankie.
How you guys doing?
All right. How are you, brother?
Maybe TikTok banned you because I gave out all those losers and everybody bet against them, and DraftKings and FanDuel got hammered for the last couple.
Could be.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It could be.
We're gonna get subpoenaed.
Yeah, this could be considered an inside job conspiracy type of deal here. Just bet against Frankie, and you're going to do all right for yourself, it seems. It seems the way it goes. And, we were talking about all the playoffs that just happened, and obviously none of what you said came true. There was no every game team wins the home game. Yeah, good job with that. Buzzer beaters. Yeah, only if the buzzer's in the first quarter, Mike thinks it is. That didn't work.
You need that. Remember back in the day on MTV, they had the Rock and Jock. You needed that 30-point buzzer beater. That's what you needed.
And I had Connor McDavid winning the Conn Smythe too. I don't think that's happening.
That's not happening.
He's recording 8 goals a game.
Yep, that's nice. So, and the NBA's come to a close, and that's done for the year. We just got a little bit into the outlook for the Knicks and the not the Celtics. Wow, really? Jesus. The Knicks and the Sixers for next year. And Frankie, well, I know you're not as much of a big basketball guy, right?
Right.
It's probably a good time to start looking at the futures if you believe in one of your teams and go check the odds.
Yeah, I'll take a look next week. I'll give you something next week.
Yeah, thanks for knowing your shit, Frank. Thanks. We appreciate it.
We
appreciate that here.
So you're talking about Ben Simmons earlier.
What the fuck?
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier, yeah.
Actually, Showtime, maybe before he was drafted, so 10 years ago, they had a documentary on him. His family is phenomenal. Like, he was like a good kid, high school. It was the right pick for you guys. I don't know what happened.
Something snapped in there, man. At least like it's funny. You look at athletes, right? And here's one that Frank's familiar with. Antonio Brown is another one that something just snapped. But I think you have a point of reference there. I think he snapped on the perfect hit. I think he was never the same, Frank. That's when he started talking shit after that perfect hit. All of a sudden, like something broke inside of him, and his whole personality changed. He almost became like a schizo,
I think
I would love to know what happened to Simmons, man. I'm dying to know what happened to Ben Simmons. That to me is one of the most intriguing things because he's still in the freaking league. He's robbing the Nets at
He hasn't
gunpoint.
played a game.
Oh my God! They paid him $40 million a year to basically hang out with everybody.
Yeah, to keep the bench warm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, hockey's still going on, Frank. You know, Edmonton pulls off the stave off the elimination with the big win at home. I was telling Mike, I think that series is south. I think that game was just kind of an anomaly where, you know, a couple of bad things happened early, a couple of soft goals maybe, things that shouldn't go in. All of a sudden you got an avalanche and you're at home and you're desperate. And I think it just kind of went that way. I think Florida's going to close it out. You think Edmonton has any life?
No, I think you were right what you said before that they're spitting images. They're mirror images, those two championships. Win the first two, or win the first three, lose the fourth, win the fifth at home. And that's what's probably going to happen tonight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it too. But hockey is weirder than the other sports, right? I mean, it's happened a few times in hockey. Teams have come back from 3-0. Hockey is just a very strange sport in that way. It just seems that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get a hot goalie. That's all you need.
Yeah. Why are we
win 4 in a row?
Why is Mike putting that on here? Oh, I know why. Yeah, he was reminding us that the Flyers suck. That's what he was doing with that.
Yeah, we came back from 3-0 one time. It happened once.
A grimace.
Yeah. Oh my God. We'll get into that when we get into baseball. But it's amazing with the Mets. The Mets, even when something's going right, it can't go right. There has to be some type of circus associated with it, right? And we'll get into that after we get into baseball. So, all right. So you don't. So Edmonton's probably not a good bet. You know, I guess if you're a diehard Edmonton fan and you're hoping at all hope, but I will say this: if Edmonton does get tonight, if they do, it's a series. This is hockey.
Yeah.
This is hockey. Yeah. They get it tonight. They're going back home for game 6 with all the momentum of 2 games in a row. And, you know, if I'm Edmonton, right, the way game 4 went, I'm thinking I unlocked something. I figured something out. So let's see if Edmonton maintains that same type of play style they had in game 4, which was much more aggressive than they played early in the series. They were just shooting. Every time they got the puck anywhere inside the other zone, they were shooting. They were just putting shots on net. Yeah, they were putting it on net as much as they could, and it paid off. It paid off.
You get rebounds, you get cheap goals,
and that's not their usual style. You know, they're a very strong power play team. They like to bring the puck up, set up their passes, get their one-timers going. They're not a pepper the net type of team. That's more really like what Florida really is, to be honest with you. But again, you never know. Hockey, you never know. I would not believe it in basketball. In hockey, if they win tonight, Edmonton, the series is on. It's a series. Yeah.
Going back to basketball for a second, I saw something where I guess somebody in the crowd was saying to Doncic, they were talking shit to him. He's like, "Your mom's a fucking hoe." Wow. I mean, is he wrong? They're Boston.
Listen, you know, I say this. There's a price to pay for all the money you make being a superstar. You should have deaf ears. Nothing said should bother you that much. Someone throws something at you, someone gets handsy with you, that changes the game, right? Yeah. But you as a professional athlete, you got to have deaf ears. You're making $40 whatever million a year. Fans are going to get on you. They're going to talk. They're going to talk about your mother. They're going to talk about banging your sister. They're going to talk about the party they had with your wife last night. They're going to say all that stuff. You just be professional.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, just be professional. That's players upset me with that, you know. So and look, I get it that it's different if it's racial, right? Yeah. If it's something that's, you know, below the belt, then that means a little different, especially in our modern society. But for the most part, when you're getting fan insults, just keep it moving, bro. It does.
Yeah. It's actually something that just happened in the College World Series. 2 Texas A&M fans were yelling something to the Florida bench because there was a 21-year-old kid on the team last year. The dad murdered him and his brother. They're like, "You're a bunch of murderers, Like, and the coach got on it. It's like, they don't represent our school. I don't know what that. Don't let them ever come back to Omaha.
That's a tough one too, man.
What are you doing?
That's something a Philly fan would do.
Well, you know, it's going to come back to what I say all the time. People suck. You know,
People
it's
do.
one of my favorite sayings is that people in the long run are very disappointing. It's why I like dogs. Dogs are much more trustworthy. I believe what what their intentions are, even if they're bad intentions. I know it from Jump Street. So, people just suck, and it's a shame that our fandom gets so severe that some people feel they have to get to that level. Now, obviously, there's contributing factors, bunch of drunk assholes drinking too much. That's a big. I think that's a big contributor to your Philly crap that happens all the time, Mike. Bunch of drunk freaking rednecks drinking out the stadium, and then you're picking on everybody because you're a bunch of drunk fucks. And I think that's a problem sometimes. And what makes me laugh about it is that then the sports teams say, "Oh, well, it's because of this, because that." Bro, you're making $15 a beer. Shut up. You're totally promoting it because you're exploiting it and making money on it. I don't want to hear your team complain about it.
Yeah, and I don't want to hear that it's just Philly fans. I've been, over the past few years, saying nonstop videos. I mean, the Celtics fans were just beating the balls off of each other in the stands after they lost the game.
Yeah, but we understand that. We get that.
We suck
Because they suck. We know that. Yeah,
he was
know
getting
it.
the brakes beat off of him on and off the court. So I don't want to hear that. The one Bears fan at the during the Bears Packers, his fat ass got thrown down the steps 16 times in a row. Like,
I've seen some crazy ones.
It happens. It happens. Alcohol and testosterone.
Yeah.
They don't mix.
They don't mix well at all.
They don't mix.
Yeah, they don't mix well at all. Well, I'll tell you what. I wasn't going to bring this up, and I'm going to just because it was discovered what Aaron Rodgers was doing. That's more important than going to practice.
Yeah.
We talking about practice, not a game, not the game that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game.
Not the game.
We're talking about practice, man.
Yep, we're talking about practice, and it came out that Aaron Rodgers went abroad for some music festival and ayahuasca thing, and
is that what it was?
I'm fucked. Yeah, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
I'm screwed. It's over. It's over already. It hasn't even started yet, Frank, and it's over. It's over. It's already over. This guy, it's just over.
It's not like he's a second-year pro. He knows the system.
Yeah.
Does he really need to be at an OTA?
He is the system.
It's mandatory.
I'm going to call an official timeout here, okay? This is an official timeout. Team Turk is taking a timeout, 2 remaining timeouts. Okay, so check it out. It's not about knowing the system. And you know what, Frank? You're probably right. It probably doesn't affect anything, right? As long as his teammates are brainwashed enough to believe it's not a big deal. I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal. Because it continues to prove the lack of accountability for when things matter on the Jets. I don't care if he was at all the OTAs that were voluntary. Beautiful. You did a good job. All that good you did with that, you just fucked in the ass by not coming to the mandatory to go to some ayahuasca thing and go to some music festival, which you're basically telling everyone that's more important than your mandatory practice with the Jets. Now, to his teammates, probably not a big deal because he's a guard to them. For the most part, his teammates are all a bunch of kids who are very talented, right? So they're probably like, we don't care, Aaron, do you, whatever, just play 17 games this year and it's all good. And that's exactly what they're thinking. But it comes back to my point of when it gets close and tight, right? When you're squeezing it together and there's no accountability, somebody's going off sides. Somebody's holding. Somebody's committing a pass interference because you're not disciplined.
Yep.
It's about the discipline.
No chemistry.
Right. It's not the chemistry. It's not the chemistry. It's because since the coach doesn't have everything under control, right? That means when the things come to happen that have to be under his control, they're not going to be, just like this wasn't. So that's.
But I believe he did do it with Green Bay also. Did the same thing.
He won championship for Green Bay. I don't give a shit about Green Bay.
I know, but I'm just
4 plays here. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's played 4 plays as a New York Jet. 4 plays. You have a higher standard, bro. We brought in all your friends last year for you. Guess what? They all sucked. They were all terrible. Lazard sucked. They were horrible. And now here we go. We're going to run it back. Yeah, I want you to keep the coach because I can walk on him, So I want you to keep the coach because he's not really the coach. I am. That's what's going on with Aaron Rodgers right now.
There goes our Facebook. Way to go.
Yeah. But the point is that it creates an environment of no accountability. Mike, you know this. On a football team, one person has to be in charge with final say. Who is that?
Quarterback.
Liar.
The coach.
I mean,
The coach. The coach has to have that final say.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the coach, and
it's only 2 months. I can't wait for September and October. Oh my God, it's going to be
brutal.
It's going to be a shit show.
So let's get away from this now, okay? That's enough. I just wanted to report up quick on that Aaron Rodgers crap to just prove that the circus continues to be in town. The Volkswagen.
You want to hear about some Eagles stuff going on too?
What's up? Do I have to?
Yeah, we might as well because it says New York versus Philadelphia.
I guess
you'll get a laugh. You'll get a laugh. You'll get a laugh.
Well, I'll give you some background music for it. All right.
All right.
All right, come on, tell me what's going on here. Let's go.
So apparently, the Philadelphia fans think it's time to get rid of Jalen Hurts.
Why? So Kenny Pickles could start? Is that
why? Kenny Tiny Hands Pickles.
You don't want him. You don't want him.
I didn't want him. I didn't want the guy. I saw it. I said, we traded for this guy? What did we give up?
Wait a second. I'm an outsider, right? So I'm going to ask you outsider questions here.
Go ahead.
Why is Jalen Hurts looked at this way? Because his first year was unreal. Last year he had a bad second half, right?
Yeah. So his first year.
I think a lot of that is attributable to them switching coordinators on him from season 1 to season 2. It was natural for him to take a step back. I think it's almost automatic that he's going to take a step back, right? So why he's still a second, third year player? Why is the fan base turning on this guy?
Turk, I don't need your reasonable fucking questions here, okay? All right? I asked the same goddamn things. I had to drive all the way from Wilmington, Delaware, back home, listening to this bullshit. Because he did bad last year. He threw for 3,800 yards. 3,800 yards. He was leading the league in rushing touchdowns for quarterbacks.
Hey, listen, I'm going to give you a couple of things again from outside perspective. I know for a fact they were.
I don't want anything reasonable.
No, this isn't reasonable. There were 2 games that you guys lost that were directly on the OC. One of them being the Jets game.
Yeah, and
why are you throwing the ball on 3rd and 15 instead of punting to the worst offense in football?
How about James Bradbury being one of the biggest? I mean, why is he even on the field at that point? Why is he still on
the field? Why is there no accountability?
Baker Mayfield looked like Tom Brady.
Tore you to shreds.
Just trash, slinging over this guy all game. And we're going to blame Jalen. Yeah, that's exactly. We're 10-1. 10-1. I'm like, oh my God, nobody's stopping us this year. I'm coming for that fat shit, Andy Reid. We're going to get that title. And then it was just like, bloop, 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 just one thing after another, and we all know it, the quicksand. Once you're stuck, that's it.
You know your first step was into that sand, right? The first step into the sand was when you stepped in and it sunk knee deep against the Jets and you choked that game away.
Oh, yeah.
No joke. I'm being serious.
Oh, listen, you can keep rubbing it in my face. I know it happened. I saw it. I
lost to Zach Wilson.
I just lost to the goddamn Jets.
No, not the Jets. You lost to Zach Wilson. That's a different kind of special.
Who I despised as a quarterback. Even they were talking him up so much during the combine, it made me sick to my stomach. But that's besides the point. Okay. Either way, the guy threw for 3,800 yards. He was leading the league, I think, in the NFC in rushing touchdowns. The offense did have its issues because it was one-dimensional. Because of what? Play calling. play
I agree.
calling. You're watching, and it's like 3rd and 2. They're passing the ball deep.
It's like he was allergic to running the ball.
Right. Run the goddamn ball.
Yeah.
Run.
I agree with that.
And 3rd and 1. What's the play that works 90% of the time? I don't care. Like, oh, we're going to save it for 4th down. The push for 4th down. Shut the hell up. Go run the ball. Get the 1st down. They didn't do it. We fell. It's okay. Because the cancers are gone.
But now they want Hurts gone. They think he's the problem.
They think he's the problem.
Wow.
Listen, you give him the year with Kellen Moore calling the plays.
You'll be fine with Kenny Pickles. Don't worry about it.
3,800 yards again. Then
Pickles
okay.
we trust.
Right. Listen, at that point, then we start looking towards another quarterback, maybe. His first year, he was the Wildcat quarterback under Carson Wentz. That bust.
Turk Stradamus is going to make a prediction.
Go ahead.
If Kenny Pickles,
it better be that the Eagles
if Kenny Pickles takes any actual game snaps this year as your quarterback, you're not winning more than 7 games.
I'll be willing to bet $10 on that. All right, let me rephrase that. If he starts any games for an extended amount of time, whether it's
What
would you call extended amount? 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
3 to 4 weeks is extended. 3 to 4 weeks is extended. If he starts and plays 3-4 games, whether due to injury or because for some reason they bet Jalen Hurts for him, which is laughable. But if that happens, come down to the basement, hang out with me for a while, I'll show you what it looks like. We got nice things.
The other thing that it was a problem was they asked about how they asked Jalen personally how he was doing with the new offense. He said it's 95% different. We just heard Howard Eskin say that that's not true. It's about 25% different than the offense.
Starting off on a good foot there. There you go.
Starting off on a good foot. But, I mean, really what it's coming down to is the guy said he was just very lackadaisical about talking about his head coach. And I think it's just like, the guy, he just got done fucking practicing all day.
But you got Saquon Barkley now.
We do have Saquon Barkley. We do, and we got. Listen, we have
$13 million a year.
Team. That's okay. That's okay. Howie will fix that. Will fix that, and Howie we trust.
Okay. Frank, any news coming through on the Steelers? Anything on the Steelers?
I don't got anything on the Steelers. Everything's calm right now.
Because you have one of the best coaches in football. That's why.
Yeah, we got this great 9-8 head coach who hasn't won a playoff game in 8 years.
I think they should give him a 25-year extension. That's my opinion.
I think they should too.
Yeah.
You can have it.
I'll trade you.
I don't want
Hackett. Salah, Hackett, right? I'll even throw in Tyrod Taylor for Tomlin.
No, I'll give you Tomlin for a number 1 pick. That's it.
I would do that. If I was a team,
hold on.
I would do that second.
He already showed his cards by telling you he can't stand the guy for a number 1 pick.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, I mean,
now we
know why he's such a gambler.
I need to be a GM.
No, now we know why.
Decline. We will give you a 4th round pick because we know that you would get rid of him for a washing machine.
Well, guess what? Now we know why Frank's gambling advice is so bad. Now you can see why.
I'll tell you the worst. And this was going back. How long Salah been the head coach? That was the second year.
This is 3 miserable years now.
Okay, but when he was like that DC for San Fran, I'm like, Nick, I fucking want him as our head coach.
So did I. I can't scoff.
I was wrong.
Scoff at the signing, right? Because
it was dead wrong.
Of everyone that was available at the time, he's the guy I wanted too. He is nothing like he was as a coordinator.
No,
he's not fiery on the sideline.
Nope.
He's not into it. He's not talking to his players. He's not coaching them up. You know what he does? He stands there and he's a cheerleader. That's what he does now. So again, it comes back to that. Some guys are not meant to be head coaches, and they're better coordinators.
He's one of them.
I think it falls under him just like that. I don't think it's any different than Norv Turner was offensively. Guy was a great offensive coordinator, terrible head coach. Terrible.
And going back to the Steelers, hopefully Arthur Smith is a coordinator because now he's their offensive coordinator. We don't have to fire Canada anymore.
Arthur Smith is a coordinator. I'm going to tell you.
I mean, with Tennessee, he was.
With that.
Yeah, with Tennessee, they were good.
Not only that, but think who his quarterback was there.
Yeah, and he had fucking
He had Tannehill.
Tannehill.
That's not exactly having, you know.
Who was a wide receiver in college. It was even a quarterback.
That's not having a big time quarterback there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I think you did good with that. So, we chug along. We're at the point now where we are in June, and NFL is really around the corner, but we are now in that time where we have to hear this.
3-2 pitch, swing and a pop-up. This game is going to be over. Carlos Ruiz squeezes it, and the Phillies are the National League champions.
And we're going to talk about the Phillies first.
Easy with that.
Well,
the National League champions, I mean.
Well, that's because you ain't winning the World Series, bro. That's why I played it that way. Yeah.
That's a guy you could listen to, though, all day long. He was good.
Yes. But Phillies are rolling along. First place by 10 games now in the division.
Yeah, but we had a little skid against your AL East.
Well, you play real teams. It hurts a little more.
Lost to the Orioles.
By the way, the weekend of July, I believe it's 28th, 29th, and June 28th, 29th, and July. Is it next weekend? No, it's in July. Yankees are in Philadelphia. Yours truly will be in the building for a game.
Come on down.
Yeah, I'll be visiting. Wearing all my Yankee stuff. Yeah, we'll be doing it.
Right.
We're going to take your stadium over just like we did your damn arena. You know that, right?
You're not taking that.
Yeah, we are.
I went before. You don't take the stadium over there. You can get close to 50-50. You get close.
No. You are not going to get
50-50
it's going to be
takeover, Frank. That's like a takeover.
No, it's going to be 90-10.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I will bet
we don't let you guys just walk in for
minimum. I'll bet you anything. There's a minimum of 10,000 Yankee fans in that building. Minimum.
All right. Well, you got to stand there and count them and count the stuff.
I'll tell you from all the jerseys I see sitting around there, but yeah, they're playing. I'm looking forward to that. It's down the road. It's actually going to be at a time of year where, the Phillies could be like 15 games up and pack it in, but the Orioles ain't going nowhere with the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are ripping off wins, and so do the Orioles. The Yankees have 50 wins. The Orioles have 48 with the same thing in the loss column. The Orioles ain't going away, and the Yankees started a 3-game series against them tonight, and Nasty Nestor's on the mound. Rizzo is now out on DL, or the IL, as they call it now. They bring up a rookie first baseman, one of the higher touted people. He's starting right away. They throw him right in, left-handed. Let's go, get him going. And then tomorrow, we have the return
Ball
of
game
Mr.
over.
Cole.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And I played that because that's generally what happens when Garrett Cole pitches. And
right, but what happened in Boston with you guys just recently?
I'm going to tell you what happened. They're looking forward to that Baltimore series. Boston stinks. They overlooked Boston, and Boston played well. Boston ran very well. Some of the Yankees don't do well. Boston ran the bases all over the place on them. The Yankees were sloppy, right? Yankees should have won 2 or 3 games, but they lost 2 or 3 games. And now they get a series that really matters against the Orioles, who are just, 3 games behind them, all in the win column. Yankees need to start putting some distance here. I don't like the Orioles breathing up our ass, but I am very confident now that with Garrett Cole joining Luis Heel in the starting rotation is going to be something.
Well, we'll see. And Phillies have to hit the trade block soon. Something's got to give here. Trey Turner's back.
The Mets have won like 13 out of 16. All of a sudden,
they had a McDonald's character throwing the first pitch, and now he's the second coming of Christ.
They are 6-0 since the Grimace first pitch. Grimace, the purple is getting it done, and it all makes sense because their City Connect uniforms are purple, right? Purple and gray. So they got the power of the purple going on. Let me tell you.
Is that what happened?
And you know who's next is Mayor McFucking-Cheese. He's coming too. The whole gang's getting back together. They're all getting up in this joint, Mike.
Well, you know what? Well, then we're going to have the Hamburglar come out and throw out the first pitch when we play the Mets again.
Well, you can't do that. You got your Philly fanatic. That's like disrespect to your fanatic.
No, it's not.
No, they'll bring
Fanatic
Steve
rules all.
out for fucking pinch hit.
Who?
Who's the fucking hockey one? Gritty? Is that it?
Gritty. Yeah, it's my guy here.
They're bringing out the pinch hit.
Oh yeah, Gritty to pinch hit. Yeah, but look, Phillies. There should be no doubt. And right now at this point, if the Phillies don't win the division, it's a major disappointment. You got a 10-game lead.
It'd be the biggest.
It'd be a collapse. It'd be a collapse. Yeah, it'd be a collapse
since the Roman Empire.
Aren't the
I don't know about that, but okay. But it would be a big collapse. I think going forward, Philadelphia just kind of has to just keep winning series. You know,
that's all they're going to do. We need another pitcher. We need an outfielder who's more consistent than Castellanos. Castellanos just isn't doing it. I think he had 2 hits last night, but Schwarber hit 2 bombs and is now the Phillies' leading home run per plate appearance. So every 13 appearances, he hits a home run.
I got to. I love Schwarber as a hitter. I hate the hit that he leads off. I can't stand it. Drives me nuts.
So they move him around a bit. He doesn't always lead off, but it's for whatever reason it works in October.
Every time I look at the lineup, he's leading off. Every time.
It works in October. And the reason
doesn't
why
it work
is
to drive pitches. Runs in? Doesn't driving runs in count? Don't that matter?
Yeah, when you throw 7 pitches and then the first ball, there's 8 pitches in the front seats without a ticket. And
calm down. He's Kyle Schwarber, not Aaron Judge. Calm down. Calm down.
Aaron Judge doesn't lead off. Okay.
No,
you said about leading off.
As a leadoff hitter.
Well, yeah, because he's a real power hitter. That's why
he's used to homer 20 times a season leading off.
He's a real power. Schwarber hit the longest home run in Dodger Stadium history. It was like a 490.
Aaron Judge hit 62 2 years ago. When did Schwarber do that?
40. He did 42 that year, I think.
Oh, 42. That's cute.
Which you guys are still celebrating being second place.
That's cute. 42. That's cute. I like that.
That's all right. When it comes out that he was on steroids and the juice ball era.
Judge is not on steroids. He's 6'8", 280 pounds, Mike. He's just a monster.
That's fine.
That's all he is.
Jordan Mailata is 6'9". He's not hitting 62 home runs.
Mike's cheeks are getting red. You okay over there, Mike? Calm down.
I'm getting upset. I got a sore back. I shot a 105 on Saturday in golf. I'm not a happy camper.
Oh, I thought we can't talk about golf on this program.
Shout out Bryson DeChambeau for winning the US
One
Open.
thing about that, Adam, I just want your opinion on this. I know you're not a golf fan. So the tournament happens. Rory chokes, and I fucking hate Rory. What does he do? He throws his clubs in the trunk, doesn't take any interviews. What's your opinion about that?
I think he's pissed off and he's a sore loser and he knows he choked and he won't talk about it.
Tom Brady.
No, but Tom Brady was a sore loser, but he didn't choke. Like, generally, when the Patriots lost, it wasn't because of Tom Brady.
It wasn't because of Tom Brady. You're absolutely right.
Listen, I'm not even a golf fan. I know what happened. Rory McIlroy choked. What he did in the last couple of holes was an epic choke. I mean, he couldn't have been worse for 4 holes. He couldn't have been worse. So, yeah, I understand the human element of it, right? So, I always stand up for players in every sport when it comes to this. People forget there's an emotional aspect to being a competitor, right? Rory just had the biggest choke in golfing history. Now, his character doesn't show great for not facing the camera and facing the music, for sure. He takes a hit, no doubt about it. But I do understand it. You know, that it is an immense pain to deal with, and he just doesn't have the ability to deal with it. It is not something that is pleasant, and he chickened out. He pussied out. That's all there is to it.
He's not 20 years old anymore.
Right.
He's been doing this for 20 years.
Some people don't change, Frank. And he's been choking for a while now. He seems
he hasn't won a major in over 10 years.
Not only has he not won a major in 10 years, but I was watching this, right? I can't believe I was watching this bullshit.
It was exciting.
Why am I watching this? No, I mean, it sucks. I mean, you know, but
it's like watching you try to put a sound blade on.
Talk about Rory in his last 4 tournaments. And in his last 4 tournaments, in his final 2 holes, he's shooting something like 5 over.
So you can't close the deal.
That is terrible. Even I know that. That is.
I think that's average.
He's at the bar at 1:45 a.m. and he's going home single-handed. He can't take somebody home from the bar.
But
Yeah.
Turk, I want to reiterate what you were saying. Go back to what you were saying about the human element and stuff. There's a difference between sympathizing and empathizing.
I agree.
So yeah, I can understand why he hopped in his car like a little sore bitch and drove off.
I can
But at the
understand it.
same
I'm not
time-
condoning it. I'm not condoning it. I understand
So
it.
at the same time, I can't sympathize with it.
I'm not.
No.
No.
We gotta. You need to shake the guy's hand. You take the. Hey, what happened? I choked. It is what it is. No more
I agree.
question. I'm here
I'm
so
not
I don't get
disagreeing.
fined.
I 100% agree with you, and
See you later.
especially when you're a professional athlete and
Right.
you're making 8 figures of money a year, you kind of owe it to stand up to the camera and talk to the people that are paying your salary, basically,
Exactly.
and just face the music. And I think that all of us as sports fans have always, especially us New Yorkers, I don't know how you are in Philly, all right, but in New York, it's always been, even if you screw up to the max, as long as you're a man about it and you stand up to it, we will have a long leash of tolerance for you. We will give you the space to try to figure it out. What New York goes nuts about is when you're a phony and you're pointing fingers and blaming everybody else. And it's not
That's
your
the same
fault.
way in Philly. Alcone dealt with it 2 years ago when he got caught on camera saying, "I fucking hate this place." He was at home, got caught.
What did he say? I hate this place?
I fucking hate this place.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So they
Wait,
asked
who-
him, "Hey, what's going on? Why'd you say that?" And he said, "I own it. I said it. I messed up. I apologize. I don't hate it here. I love it here." Because, eventually we turned around and won the game.
He was just pissed off at the time.
He was pissed off. And right. But he owned it. The next day, gave him a standing ovation.
I remember that. And he started playing.
And now look at him.
Now then he started playing. Everybody loves him.
Yep.
So sometimes it's just making yourself accountable to the people that, come to see what you do. You know what I mean?
Blue collar fans are going to respect it.
Right.
When you step up and you say, "Hey, I fucked up.
Right.
It's on me. I did it." Not like Andy Reid, who comes out and every week, "It's on me. I got to do better. I got to do better."
I love Andy Reid. Leave Andy alone. Leave Andy the fuck alone, bro.
No, fuck him. He won his
Leave
Super
him
Bowl,
alone.
and then he got to
He's
beat
one of the
me.
best coaches
No.
ever. Your team blew it. You got rid of him. You blew it. You blew it. Let's
They
keep
put
it
too
real.
much
You
water
blew
on
it.
the grass.
You should have never gotten rid of him. And the Andy Reid firing was maybe one of the most egregious firings in the last 20 years.
We won a Super Bowl afterwards, though.
Because he had one bad season after going to 5 NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl. He has one, I think it was 6-10 or 7-9.
It was a
and he's
rebuild.
out.
It was rebuild years.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But listen, Andy has proved that, and I'll tell you what, it's more an indictment on Donovan McNabb than anything.
It was.
Right?
Absolutely.
Because you look at Andy Reid, who really Kansas City is very similarly built to how the Eagles back then were built, right? Offensively, the way that they run their offense, very similar. The difference is Patrick Mahomes instead of Donovan McNabb. And I think it's an indictment on McNabb that Andy Reid's offensive systems that he's been running for 25, 30 years in the NFL now, since back when he was with Green Bay, before he became an Eagles head coach, his offensive system, which is a hybrid of the West Coast, works if you have the right quarterback. And obviously Donovan McNabb wasn't the right quarterback.
But was the right pick.
Yeah. At the time, he just, listen, McNabb had a great
nobody else that
he had a
came out.
He had a great career in Syracuse, Yeah. And if you keep it real and you look at the numbers, he had a very good pro career. He really did. He borderline Hall of Famer. Not quite, but borderline, right?
Right.
Numbers-wise across the board. But the reality is he just couldn't get it over the top. The puking Super Bowl, He cracked when it was most important, and that's what he's going to be remembered for, unfortunately. That's the way it goes.
And drunk driving.
And drunk driving. Yeah, that's not a good thing either. But I think that we covered a lot of bases with that stuff. We're going to cover one more quick for 5 minutes. We're going to do this 5 minutes. Rapid fire, boys. This is going to be quick, all right? starting next week, we're going to go position on most underrated players in our opinions. That means players that were good, didn't make the Hall of Fame, but Hall of Fame caliber in our eyes for whatever they did for their team. We're going to start with a simple one tonight, and it's Frankie Ravioli's suggestion.
I suggested it doesn't mean I
Wait, Mike, what the fuck is going on, Mike?
It happens every week now.
What the fuck? You're sideways, Mike.
Easy moving. I need a new phone.
Yeah, this is terrible. All right, so it's a good thing for you people that are listening, all two of you on the iPod, that listen to the podcast, that you don't see this, but everyone else has to see it. So we're gonna talk quick about head coaches. Head coaches.
Yes.
Let's go with in the last 25 years. I'll start with Mike. Who do you think is the most underrated head coach in the last 25 years in the NFL?
Jets head coach, no. I'm going to go. I said to you earlier, I'm going to go with Doug Peterson. Now, you had said, we were arguing about this off air, that he is not underrated now, but was very much underrated. Even after he won the Super Bowl, he lost his job. Now,
that's because your city sucks.
That had to do more with he wanted to run the team, kind of like Chip Kelly did. Jeffrey Lurie, got bit by that bug more than once. Said, sorry, bud. There's the door. We appreciate everything you've done. Here comes Nick Sirianni out of nowhere. But my guy, my pick, Doug Peterson.
Okay, Doug Peterson. And his argument is that when Peterson was first signed by the Eagles, he was kind of just a coordinator getting his first head coaching job. He ended up taking them to the Super Bowl and then was still fired, even though he took his team to the Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, I might add. Frankie, who do you got?
Besides Mike Tomlin, you want me to figure out somebody?
I think you think he's overrated, not underrated.
I just brought it up.
You beat. Well, now you have to answer the Piper.
I don't even know the guy's name.
Wow.
That's how underrated he is. But Carolina had a coach 2 years ago that took over when their head coach got fired. He coached the last 6 games. They go 5-1. Black guy, white beard, defensive coordinator somewhere. Maybe you guys know. He's my underrated coach. No.
Chris Tabor was the 2022 interim head coach.
I was going to say, it can't be not D'Amico Ryans.
No, but who's the defensive coordinator with the Texans right now? It's a black guy with a white beard.
Texans defensive coordinator.
And he's going
You're killing me, Frank. Matt Burke is currently
How'd that happen?
defensive coordinator.
I'm all over the place today.
Matt Burke.
So,
and he's another white guy. So
black guy with a white beard.
I know you're colorblind. I understand.
It happens.
Nonetheless, okay, so now I'm going to give you mine. I have to get his name, too. So
you can make up for
Ready to be prepared, boys.
He was a special teams coach. The Raiders made him the interim head coach a couple of years ago. He had a really good end of the year. Ended up getting fired. Rick Bisaccia. Okay. Remember him? He came in he came in when was it when Gruden got fired? I think it was when Gruden got fired. When Gruden got fired, he came in and did a damn good job with the team, and he ended up getting let go of and is currently with Tampa. I believe he's a coordinator there. So that's my pick. I believe he was with the Raiders that year at the end of the season. Gruden got fired for that whole mess he had. Remember the whole mess with Gruden with the emails to Washington and all that, and the bigotry and all that crap that was in there. So he ended up taking over the team and did very well. People thought he was going to get the coaching job, and he did not get it. And that was my pick. So that was our first just little taste of it, but we will be much more educated next time we do it. When we do it next week, which is probably the intent, we will do defensive ends. Most underrated defensive end from 1980 to modern day, 45 years.
Defensive end or edge rusher, as they call them.
Defensive end, the position.
So not considered outside.
Not an outside linebacker. Nope.
Has to be a DN. Got it.
Has to be a DN. And we'll go from there. And with that being said, we're going to get ready to say goodbye to Frankie Ravioli. Frankie, thank you for joining the show today. As always, You didn't make any picks, so people can't make no money this week by betting against you. Not much to pick on. It'd be nice if you come up with something, since that's your purpose on the damn show.
I'll give you something next week.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Guys, it's been a pleasure. Again, like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything.
No.
I mean,
Except
I don't give
your
out
sound.
Not
nothing.
on fucking TikTok, though. You know, we can't do it on TikTok anymore.
Can't do it on TikTok. Yeah, I got kicked off the damn TikTok. God damn it. That's
But I should
bullshit.
be at a new place next week, so I might be at my new townhouse from a different locale.
Oh, a new studio for the
We will-
Frankie Ravioli Kingdom. Yes.
Better acoustics.
Yes.
Huh?
Better acoustics.
Better acoustics.
Maybe, yeah, there won't be anything in there yet, so yeah, there will be better acoustics.
And I'd like to congratulate you, Frank, for not having screwed up sound this week. It actually went okay. So, with that being said, get your ass out of here. We'll see you next time. And that's the end of Frankie Ravioli for the day.
Yeah.
So, Mike, interesting show.
Yes,
We're like in a little bit of a sports slow season now coming up, because all there is baseball until football starts cranking up with camp and everything.
We got the Olympics, too, coming up, too.
What?
I don't
What?
know.
I'll tell you
That
something
thing
else
that
we
they
do have.
That's those color games that they have every 4 years, where the guys wear the different color shirts. And
You know what else we do have too? Is
that?
we have the World Cup qualifiers
Oh,
and the Euros, which are part of that, I believe. So, that's soccer stuff that I know nothing about because I'm not a big fan of sport. Maybe we'll get somebody on sometime to talk about it. What?
Maybe we could start doing the WNBA. I mean, everybody else is talking about it.
Well, what are they talking about? They're basically talking about Caitlin Clark and how everybody cheap shots it. That's pretty much what the whole talk is,
Okay, well,
And-
you know what? That pretty much settles it. And we'll cover the championship because who cares about the playoffs?
I'll tell you what, we can cover some WNBA, but then we both got to start actually, watching it. You know what I'm
That's
saying? Well, you can't cover it if you don't watch it, Mike. It's
Of course I can. I can have an opinion on anything.
Wow, you are a true low-life, true Philadelphia guy to your core. It doesn't change. Well, Mike, it's been fun. We will get together again next week. This has been the Battle for I-95 podcast. Please, for the love of Jesus, we lost fucking TikTok. Please fucking like and subscribe on YouTube. Listen, we got a good amount of subscriptions, but our viewership is down. You can watch us a little bit. I mean, I know Mike said just subscribe and don't watch. He's an asshole. Watch a little bit. Viewership is down. We need people to watch this shit. And obviously, you can also subscribe and get us wherever you get your favorite podcast, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, what's the other one? iHeart, yada, 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 Samsung. We're everywhere. Anywhere you want to listen.
Just Google it.
Just Google it. Google's your friend. Google it. And maybe when we get to next show, we can start getting ourselves ready for the heat of July and the baseball races that are on, the race to the playoffs. Yankees will know how Garrett Cole looks by then. I'm very curious to see him on the mound tomorrow. We'll also know how this Yankee series went against Baltimore, which, as a Yankee fan, is an important series because they're our chief competition, not just in the division. They're our chief competition in the whole American League. And I need the Yankees to perform against them as to where your team is cruising by, because the National League is absolute ass this year, with the exception of LA and yourself. I don't believe in Milwaukee. The Braves look compromised. The National League, look, come on, man. National League is ass this year. If you guys don't win, if it's not Dodgers, Phillies in the National League Championship Series, it will be beyond disappointing.
Anything can happen in October.
Oh, stop. That's an excuse. That's a pussy excuse. You know that?
No, because you know what? We might not play the Dodgers.
How many World Series you have? Wow, that's a lot. I have a jacket that has 27 of them. In about 190 years, you could wear one like that. For the
wait,
Phillies.
no, there's only two. I forgot we lost that one.
Oh, you lost that one. Yeah, that's okay. All right, well, it's been fun, Mike, as always. We were brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving's hard. Do it the easy way. And we will see you next time.
See you all next week.
Thank you, guys.